imagine the answer is yes. It would be a problem. Of course, the answer is not yes. But the question really is worth a lecture. It's going to be lecture number 8. What's the impact of technology on the way we think? I'm a grandfather now. I see my granddaughter. There is an impact. But again, as a philosopher, we want to be rigorous in the answer. We want to put some words and finding the nuance, etc., etc. So, how could we start? Tools are not new, and probably the first of all, I don't know, but maybe the first of all was the lever. Archimedes, 2000 years ago, he said, give me a lever and I'm going to lift the world, I'm going to move the world. And this is definitely a tool. And it opened like a first category of tools. Tools dedicated to amplify our force, to give us more strength. So it started with the lever, but an engine is in the same category. Even if it came 2000 years after, it's the same category. And I like biking, so I put a bike. Those three belong to a same set. Tools designed to help us to amplify our force. And when you take some distance, which is the role of a philosopher, you can see 4 different groups of tools. This is number 1. Number 2 is about senses. Exactly the way we have tried to amplify our power, we also have designed tools to amplify our senses. A telescope, for example, it was used by Galilei. Galilei made his theory mostly because he had the chance to have a telescope. He could see things in the sky nobody saw before. So it helped by increasing sensitivity. In the same second group, you have X-ray. If you look at medicine, of course, progress made by X-ray is incredible, and now you have the IRM and things like that. But it's about the same movement. And some people who don't hear well, now they can have like small systems put in the ear. It's the second group. It helps us to increase the way we feel, we hear, we see, etc. You have many other examples. Then you have a third one, which is not so much about us, but much more about outside. Tools designed to harness the nature. If you take, for example, a dam. What's a dam? It's a technology, it's a tool, which is really help in such a way we harness a bit more the nature. And the same category, a bit surprising, but you have the pill. It's the same, they belong, both the dam and the pill belong to the same group of technology that help us to control a bit what's happening. And those 3 first groups are maybe not so much an issue. There is an issue. Of course, there is an issue with all biotech, etc. There is an issue, but not so much on thinking. The 4th group, tools that help us to think better, to model the way we think. And of course, the first example I show is a very old one. But when this was designed, it helped somebody to calculate a bit faster. So it's a help, it's a support for a different kind of issue, the way we think. And in this category, you have like a clock. What's a clock? It models the way we think. In this particular case, the time. It transformed the time in numbers. And I put a spreadsheet just to show that this category is not from now. It's not from now. It is globally the set of tools that have an impact on the way we think. And we will see later, of course, which kind of impact, stupid or not stupid. Of course, it's not none of them, but it's in between. But we will try to explain a little bit how it happens. It's obvious. The fourth category not only helped us to think better, but have an impact on the way we think. Let's look at the relationship between mathematics and computer science. Mathematics helped to design, to start computer science. And then what happened? Computer science helped backwards to push mathematics further, like with the fractal theory and things like that. So there is a back and forth, which was not the case with the three first categories. So it's obvious there is an impact, and we should dig a little bit, because thinking it's really the essence of man. It's about to think. The way we organize our memory, the way we write. Friedrich Nietzsche, he died in 1900. He received just before his death a type machine, and he wrote in a letter. He was a bit surprised and a bit intrigued by the power of this machine with a type machine. So the problem is not new. The way we write, the way we organize our memory, the way we, for example, we look at screens. Now we can look at two different windows at the same time. This kind of parallel thinking is another issue. It never happened before. With a book, you have a book. Now we have two screens at the same time. Now we have to think with unfinished information, with uncertain information, with unstable information. And this is really new. And this has an impact. This has an impact. As a last example, let's go back to my lecture number 2, I believe. Yes, number 2. Remember the category? What was a category? Probably the greatest invention all time. Why? Because it was Aristotle, he invented this category to help us to organize the world and to start a new science, the science of logic. Without category, you cannot have logic. You cannot logically think. So category, that's what I told during lecture 2. Category is probably the ultimate need we have to think. What happens today? If you go on Google and you type philosopher, for example, incredible. Google proposed categories. And you see below, I know, French philosopher, Greek philosopher, and different categories. It means that from Google, you have like a proposal, a set of categories proposed. That was the role of the human being. So definitely the question is important.